Walaikum. Welcome back. It is exactly 9:26 a.m. This is News and Views right here on Salam Media. And as you are aware, we're all about humanitarian journalism. Next, we're going to be talking with Reverend Frank Chikane. He is with the ANC Integrity Commission Chair. And we are very, very honored to have Reverend Frank Chikane on air with us this morning. And I start off by saying, I'm quoting what the Reverend had said. I am not ready to be governed by criminals. And this as he takes over the ANC integrity body. A very good morning to you, Reverend Frank Chikane. Welcome to the program. Lovely to be talking with you this morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning, and good morning to your listeners.
Okay, so Reverend, the commissioners, yourself and the commissioners have briefed journalists for the first time a little while ago, since being appointed about, well, when I say a little while ago, I'd say about 3-4 months ago. You are tasked with holding accountable ANC leaders and members who go against the ethical values of the organization. And that many years later, we are aware of just how deep the rot runs in the country, amongst politicians, in the corporate world, right across the board. This is truly a huge, and I should imagine, a daunting task for you and the commissioners. How are you going to go about addressing these issues?
Well, I always get appointed to do difficult things. If they are easy, they can give them to other people. But this one is a huge challenge. I think if it was like 2004 or something like that, it would be a different challenge because at that time, when you were corrupt or unethical, you were an exception, and were able to deal with it. But what has happened in the last recent time, people have recalibrated their ethical values, moral values, and they have deviated from what the ANC is about. Its culture, its ethical stance, to something that's foreign to the African National Congress. And that's why you ended up with, state capture, including capturing intelligence to serve other purposes other than what we fought for. We talked about seizure of power, to use the power to serve the people. And people tend it to seizure of power to serve their own interests. I think that's what has radically gone wrong. And young people who come after work on the basis that, you go to power to make money. You go to power to empower other people to help you make money. It's no more about the people. And that's what needs to be fixed. And unfortunately, the rot is deep. We're going to have to fix it. We don't have a choice. Fortunately, I have been appointed at a time when we have gone through the worst of the sectional period. And the commission that was before me had a very difficult task because they had a divided leadership and sectional, even amongst the officials of the ANC. Today, we have officials we met as a commission who gave us full support to do what we are supposed to be doing. They have also agreed that our role is not just to hear people when they have gone wrong, but that is to make sure that we interact with the structure of the organization. The terms of reference say so. So we make the top 7. We're going to meet the NEC. The Secretary General has promised to set up meetings with provincial leaders, regional leaders. We're going to have to turn it around. Fortunately, the ANC policies are clear. The Constitution is clear. Anybody who thinks that we are doing something wrong is somebody who has deviated from what the ANC is about. And that's really what the challenge is. And I believe that we need to take it on. Let me just say one thing, that since we went to the media, we were appointed in February, but I thought I must understand this entity before we go public, and we went public a week ago. Since then, lots of people are saying to me, we want our organization back. And it must be taken away from compromised leaders, corrupted leaders, to the leaders of the people who have integrity. And in the communities, we want leaders with integrity. We don't want people who are there to serve their interests. I think the message is very clear. I believe in the people, and I'm hoping that we together will fix the people's organization.
So, Reverend, we do know that, I mean, you've gone on to say, and I quote, we need to make sure that criminals don't take over the country. For now, criminals are running us. In terms of Eskom, for instance, we have darkness here because criminals are holding us ransom and we need to break it, unquote. Those were the very words that you had articulated. And I'm kind of wondering, just how big a task, how daunting this is going to be, because as you've also said, the rot runs very deep. As far as crooked politicians and councillors are concerned, we've heard a lot of killings of municipality managers, etc. So we've really got a serious problem on our hands. How are you going to tackle those issues where people are actually being killed because the criminals believe that they may be exposed or their corrupt activities may be taken away from them?
To get
Reverend,
them.
are you there? Are you there? I didn't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Yes, I'm saying it's our fault. Once we allowed the criminals to step in, when you block them and push back, they kill. And that's a consequence we need to live with, but we should not fear them and give in to them so that they govern us. I think as people of South Africa, like we did with the apartheid system, we took it on at a time when it looked like suicidal actually to take them on, and we won. And the people need to take on this challenge and win. But remember, it's not only corrupt leaders, but it's compromised leaders by the criminals themselves. And once they compromise you, if you deviate from what they've agreed you must do, then there are consequences. And then there are those who are killed because if they stand for elections like in KwaZulu-Natal, I mean, I keep on saying about 20 candidates in the 2016 local government elections were killed during the election. And the only reason would be that they wanted leaders who will serve their interests rather than the interests of the organization and the people. And I think it's our responsibility to take a stand and say we're not going to allow criminals to do that. They can't finish us if we stand as a nation. And this is what we need to do. We don't have a choice. Somebody said, do you have a choice? I say no. If I chose to do nothing, then it means I'm handing over the country to the criminals. I can't do that. We sacrificed a lot. And this last weekend, I went to attend a veterans meeting in the Eastern Cape, held in East London. And there were about 200 veterans of the movement there. And all of them made huge sacrifices. And we took a decision that we're not going to allow this, at which we fought for, to be lost. And it is time that the masses of the people join hands together with us. It's no more just an ANC problem. It's a national problem.
Okay, undoubtedly, the election's around the corner, and we hope and pray that people make the right choices and don't re-elect criminals into the system. But that being said, two very important questions. You in a very vulnerable position by making all of these statements. You are actually putting you and the commission are putting your lives at risk, because it could be these very same criminals who'd want to muzzle your voice, would they not? Meaning that your life is on the line. Have you ever given that some thought?
Well, I mean, I've always thought about that. Um, when we took a stand in 2015, the risk was with us. And it is important. And when we took on the apartheid system, the risk was with us. There was no path, and in fact, no risk for us. And so I work on the basis that this is a revolutionary commitment to save this country and make sure that the ordinary people in this country live a better life. If we stop, then you can be sure that the country is gone. So we are aware of the risks, but we committed to fixing our organization and making sure that the country is served properly. I'm convinced that, during the apartheid days, it was the support of the people who strengthened us. And even when they wanted to take us out, they had to think about the support of the people. There is this saying from Comrade Slovo, when he was asked, why were you so confident to go to Cape Town? You remember they flew in as ANC leadership to start the process of negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, answering the question, we believed in our people and we trusted in our people, and that they will not do that to us. The consequences would be grave if they did. And so I'm convinced that we as the people of South Africa can allow this. The country is going down and we are becoming, we took off well. The first 15 years or so, by 2008, we're growing at 5.6%. We're targeting at 6% to deal with poverty in this country. We have now gone down to 0 point whatever. And we need to turn it around. The economy is not performing. There are failing municipalities, about 42 of them are dysfunctional. We can't allow that. And the wrong people are appointed. The wrong people are elected. When the elections come, the ANC has worked it out. They've gone into election workshops. They know that if there is no change, people would stay away like they did in the past. They didn't vote for any party, but they stayed away. The leadership must show that there is commitment to renewal. They are changing. They're going to fix it, and they will deal with the rotten potatoes amongst them so that people can regain the confidence. I think that's really where we are going, and I will do my part and to do it together with the commissioner.
I'm looking at the issue around integrity, morality, and ethics. Oftentimes, you come across politicians, councillors, people high up or even low up in an organization that have colluded and colluded in a criminal activity, but in their minds they haven't actually carried out the activity. They may have acted unethically by possibly passing on information or whatever that might have been. And, they really don't believe that they're part of this whole criminal system that is just growing with each passing day. How do we get this very important message across to our people, very especially the youth, that they need to understand what integrity, morality, and ethics is, and how it plays into the big picture of crime, of heinous crimes, where people lose their lives. I'm just thinking of Babita Deokaran, the whistleblower. The poor woman lost her life. Her children are without a mother, and there are so many other whistleblowers that have lost their lives. We need to get this important message into the minds of our people. We need to reignite them. And I think we're in a very, very fragile situation in the country right now regarding all of these issues, with elections being around the corner. We could be sitting on a huge uprising. We can't afford an uprising, can we, in the country?
No, ma'am, we can't afford it. But I mean, people will rise up if indeed the leadership do nothing about it. But I'm saying that the masses must rise up to assist us to clean up the system. I think we need to do that, and we need to be able to say this is the number you must call. If the leader in your community does anything unethical, this is what you need to call this number, and that person needs to be dealt with accordingly. The community knows who are rotten, and so it's not difficult to identify them. Obviously, enemy forces will confuse you and identify people who are clean so that you can attack those people. No, in terms of act against those people, not attack them, but act against those people. No, I think we need to make sure that the people are on our side, and we need to also help those who got caught up without realizing they are getting caught up. They can come to the commission, members of the ANC. They can come to the commission and say, I really made a mistake. This is where I ended up in. Can you help me to deal with this matter? And we can deal with the issues, follow process, procedure, due process, so that we can actually get them out. We need to liberate our leaders from the clutches of the criminals who are compromising them. And so it's our responsibility. I don't think we have any choice. In any way, when the people rise, they must rise to fix the country. They can't rise to make it worse. Then they are not achieving any objective.
Okay, very quickly, Reverend, can you tell me, can the layperson off the street come to the commission and say, this is what I have uncovered, or I've been reading up in the newspapers, I've been following a particular story on a particular politician. I believe he or she is outright corrupt. What are you going to do about it? Is that how you will operate, or are there structures in place to receive these type of complaints, investigate them, and then decide what the outcome is going to be?
Well, there are three levels then. If you know of somebody who has committed a crime and you have evidence, you report to the police and that person gets arrested and prosecuted. So there is the one level. The other level is the misconduct level of members of the ANC. The first level is everybody, whether you are a member of the ANC or not a member of the ANC. The second is members of the ANC. It's misconduct. There is a disciplinary committee that deals with people who commit acts of misconduct. Then the third level is the level of the commission. It's about the ethics part of it. It's about the integrity of a leader. And indeed, if a leader did something that brings the ANC into disrepute, then we have a responsibility to act on it. I made it clear in our press briefing that, somebody could commit a crime and must go to jail. But somebody may not have committed a crime, but has brought the organization into disrepute because of unethical behavior. Then it becomes the responsibility of the commission. So I don't want to make a call that says, for everything that happens in the country, go to the commission. No. There are other entities that we go to. If you feel that I can't go to the police because I fear that they may be part of it, you can bring it to our attention so that we can actually help to deal with the matter. But it's not every case that needs to come to the commission.
Okay, in closing then, Reverend, does this only pertain to ANC members, ANC leaders, or does this cut across the board to other political parties as well? If someone in another political party suspects that there's been a whole host of shenanigans going on, could they then approach the commission to lodge a complaint?
No, I mean, it's an ANC commission. I'm sure other parties would not allow the commission to deal with their members. I think every party must devise their own systems of how they deal with leaders without integrity. But the Integrity Commission is not an integrity commission of the government. You know, in some Caribbean countries, you've got an Integrity Commission of the government, and it operates at a national level. This one is a party integrity, but the party, ANC, is the governing party. That's why it's so critical. And so
Absolutely.
we will do whatever we can. We can help with other cases of people who are acting in an illegal, criminal way, but that goes to the police and the investigating officers. Yeah.
That's where we leave it. Thank you indeed, Reverend Frank Chikane, ANC Integrity Commission Chair, talking to us about the organization. We wish you well. We wish you lots and lots of success. We will catch up with you again sometime in the future. God bless.
Thank you very much.
9:48 News and Views on Salam Media standing by. Our next and final interview for the morning is Ahmed Manzoor Sheikh Imam, Member of Parliament for the National Freedom Party. Well, he is the National Freedom Party leader. And as I've indicated, our final interview for the morning. Please do stay with us.